Hello and welcome to Planet 40k. Today we're going to bite the bullet and do the review for the Canoptek Reanimator. So a slight disclaimer, if this video comes across as a rant then I do apologise up front. And if you want to rant with me then feel free in the comments below, we'll share the same pain. Anyway, let's start then. So this model came out with the Indominus box set before the Codex was released. We did a review back then, but of course since the Necron Codex has dropped, I thought now would be a good time to update the review. So it's an elite option, which is quite a packed out battlefield role slot in the book. It's got the Dynasty keyword along with it being a monster and having the Canoptek keyword, which synergizes with stratagems. So as for its stat line then, movement 8 inch, weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 4+, strength 5, toughness 5, wound 6, attacks 4, leadership 10 and a 3+ save. So all the Canoptek units now have ballistic skill and weapon skill of 4, that's standard. Toughness 5 is quite disappointing for a monster unit, so we'll grin and bear that one. So abilities, so it starts off with Living Metal, which is a pretty standard ability with most units now within the book, regaining a lost wound at the start of the turn. Command Protocols, which allows it to benefit from predetermined army-wide buffs each battle round, provided that you're within 6 inches of a character and there's a noble on the table. Some of the buffs are okay and some are quite underwhelming. It explodes when destroyed on roll of a 6, and all units within 3 inches suffer a mortal wound, so it's not a big explosion but it still explodes. Then finally it's got the Nanoscarab Reanimation Beam, which is an aura ability, so you select a unit within 6 inches, and if they stay within 6 inches throughout the turn, they can have a +1 to their reanimation protocols. So it's classed as an aura, but it doesn't quite feel like an aura because you've still got to select a single unit within 6, and that unit can't even leave the 6-inch bubble throughout the turn. If they do, then the ability is lost. So I've got a huge problem with this ability in general, which I'll discuss in the conclusion of the review. So looking at weapons, it's equipped with 2 atomizer beams and reanimator claws. The atomizer beams are 12-inch range, assault 3, strength 6, -2 AP and single damage. So you get 2 of these weapons at 12 inch, which makes it stink. You've got to run up the board to be able to shoot this, which isn't looking that great. But take the range out of the equation for a moment. A total of 6 shots with strength 6 at -2 AP. With ballistic skill 4 you're going to be hitting 3 of those, and most likely need 3s to wound. So you're going to get 2 wounds on average there. The -2 makes marines go up to a 5+ save, so you may have a chance of killing a single 2 wound space marine model, so realistically not that great. The claws unfortunately are worse. They're strength 5, so it's a worse strength. It's still got the -2 AP and single damage, but it's only got 4 attack. So you're instantly missing 2 hits on average due to the weapon skill 4. So with the remaining 2 hits, you're probably going to be wounded on 3s. If you're lucky, you'll peel off another marine model, but it's less likely than the range weapons. So even a really good round, you're killing 2 marines at best here, guys. For an elite unit worth 110 points, that's pretty pathetic. For 30 points more, you can get yourself a Doomstalker, and that Doomstalker's got an invuln save, it's got twice as many wounds, it's got a better toughness, not to mention the strength 10 weapon as well. Or for roughly the same sort of points, you can grab yourself 2 spider units that are amazing in this edition. I'll quickly glance over the synergy, but we kind of know where this is going. So Dynasty Codes that assist are the Mefret Dynasty Code, which gives a 3-inch range boost to those 12-inch atomizers, making them 15-inch. Slightly better here. And if you're throwing at half range, so 8-inch, then you'll be getting an additional AP, making it -3 AP. I'm sorry, but if you're within 8 inches of a unit of marines, then you're very likely to be dead next turn. And as we've just found out, he can't really fight either anyway. The Mefret Dynasty Code grants a 6+ invuln save. Did I mention that this doesn't actually have an invuln save? So this gives it a 6+. The Nihilak Dynasty gives it objective secured, so it's not the worst option here. Maybe it is something the model can actually do, score you points. The other 3 codes don't really help the Reanimator in any way, so I'm not going to touch those. If you do go custom with it, then again objective secured is okay with Eternal Conquerors. Unyielding with that 6+ invuln save. Pair this with Healthy Paranoia for that 3-inch extra range boost, or Relentlessly Expansionist to get you the additional 6-inch movement after deployment. So maybe you'll actually get into range to shoot your poor ranged weapon perhaps. As for stratagems, there's only one really worth discussing and not for the right reasons. So for 2 CP, you can use your Reanimation Prioritization, which is where you're in your opponent's shooting phase. When a Necron's unit is selected as a target that is within 6 inches of your Reanimator and visible, you can use your Nanoscarab Reanimation Beam on that unit instead of the one that you've already got it on currently. So this to me is one of the dumbest stratagems I've seen in quite a while. So basically you can switch your beam target to aid their reanimation protocol rolls. Now firstly, why on earth is this 2 CP? Pretty expensive. Secondly, why would I want to pay any CP when the original unit that had the +1 to reanimation is now going to be losing it to give it to a different unit? I mean, if it was just 1 CP to be able to have it on on 2 different units, then I'd say that's sort of okay. But for 2 CP to turn off one unit's ability to give it to another, no thanks. Okay, so where do I start with this conclusion then? So the model is 110 points. The only thing it's good for is the ability to +1 to your reanimation roll. Now a lot of people still argue with me to this day that this ability is incredible, but it really isn't, and here's why. So just to get your points back in value of the game, you need to assist with reanimation for 110 points worth, which is the equivalent of 8 warriors. So if you can save 8 warriors within the game and get your points back, then you're just about breaking even. But when I say save 8 warriors, I don't mean when they roll a 5 or a 6 when they're reanimating. I'm talking about when they're rolling a 4. Because they've already got the 5+ reanimation built in within themselves. They don't need the reanimator to do that part. So I'm purely talking about a 4 on the roll for it to make any difference. Warriors get to re-roll 1s in reanimation, so you can include those if you get a 4 too. So try that in your next game. In fact, if you can get 8 4s within the game, then he's only just paid you your points back. But I'll go even further than that. If you do select the reanimator over an additional 8 warriors, that means you're not shooting with those 8 warriors, you're not moving and gaining objectives with those warriors, and like I said already, they've got their own built-in 5+ reanimation that you now don't have because they don't exist in the list to begin with because you've opted for the reanimator. Like I previously mentioned, pay the 30 points more, get the Doomstalker. To be honest, get any model other than this. Almost everything in this book has a better damage output, and you know roughly where to position each unit too. I mean, this guy has got a 12-inch weapon and a 10-inch movement, which suggests that he needs to be up close and personal, yet he can't fight, and even when he does shoot, it doesn't do much. The stratagem is beyond outrageous. It's 2 CP, basically to screw over one unit to mildly assist another. Then going back to its points cost, 110 points. I mean, if you're comparing it to like a Marine Codex, you can basically get a Marine Captain for that sort of cost. And they have all the bells and whistles. If this was around 50 points, I'd still say it was trash, but I'd at least say it was cheap enough to take it once in a while. But 110. Tell me a worse unit in the current 40k universe right now. What's really disappointing is it's a brand new model, so they should be boosting the model to get us buying more of them. Maybe it was a way to make the Indominus box set look even more valuable than it was. Who knows, but back before this codex was released, Cryptex had the same rule where they can +1 to reanimation protocols, and they're all stacked with one another, so you could argue a point for them, because when they were combined with a Cryptek, they were giving out a 3+ reanimation, which is crazy. So if anything, since the codex has been dropped, they've only been nerfed. So without any regret, I'm going to be giving the Canoptek Reanimator a Planet 40k rating of 0.5 out of 5. That 0.5 is probably generous, but it can still score your objective points, and as we know, points make prizes. Just want to try something with you all in the comments. Just simply put a number between 0 and 5 on where you think this Canoptek Reanimator is in the game. You can use decimals if you want, like I have. I just want to see a sea of numbers going down the comments, and if you do think it's good, let me know why. Guys, remember to subscribe to the channel. We're working on doing reviews every weekday now from Monday to Friday, not only covering Necrons but Deathwatch, Space Wolves, and soon the Blood Angels and Death Guard too, so share the channel with your friends that collect those armies, they may also enjoy the content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.